What's up, guys? I thought I'd talk a little bit about why the elite use actors to play multiple roles, and why they fake their deaths and assume new identities. I've made a few videos about this, so I'm gonna kind of chime in on it a little bit, and I'm gonna have a cigarette while I do it. They use Hollywood effects. It controls our perception of reality. Really, the only war being fought in this matrix we live in is our perception of things. Yeah, I've made a lot of videos about perception. So this is just kind of another like a segment that I'm touching on. Just showing you guys here in part one, kind of an example of how they are able to pull it off with Hollywood effects. And they'll use characters to fake their deaths and assume new identities. It's a money maker. It makes a ton of dough. It's also a form of black magic. A lot of our reality is presented to us. It's about controlling our perception of reality. It's black magic. You got the symbolism there. Buzz Aldrin, Ringo Starr. That's what I see. It sounds crazy, I know. But the level of deceit is insane. They want to keep the cast small. That's why all the the Hollywood elite, the actors, the most famous people that we know, politicians, all these names that are in the mainstream media and entertainment, they're popular for a reason. it's by design, because it's a small cast of people replaying different roles. It keeps the odds of the secret of that magic trick being played on us at a minimum. So they just reuse the same people to play different roles. And you always hear about actors saying, "Oh, I want to be a musician." A musician talking, "I wish I was an actor." It's because they are. Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Tommy Lee Jones. List goes on and on. So here's part 2. There's Marilyn Monroe holding up a flat earth map. Symbolism. So yeah, just keeping with that theme, guys. You know, the elite use actors to play multiple roles. You got George Bush playing Charles Manson. Not only do they look the same, they sound the same. And it's what these guys gotta do. It's like an initiation process within their class of knowledge, kind of above the people like me who are kind of trapped in their web of trying to stay afloat. Yeah, it's like a casino where the house always wins, and even when the house loses, the house still wins. You got Princess Diana, who is David Furnish. David Furnish is Elton John's partner, and Princess Diana and Elton John had a very close relationship, and David Furnish looks just like Princess Diana. And there's a transgender war going on. A lot of the elite also play transgender roles as well as multiple roles within their own gender. We got Richard Pryor, Steve Harvey. Very similar comedy, very similar features, and they're both very funny, kind of in the same way. And the math adds up. You got these goofy pictures. Alright, Rush Limbaugh, Jim Morrison. Sounds crazy. But when you start to look at both of them, the golden eye, Rush Limbaugh stolen the limelight. Where'd he come from? Got that symbolism, that 666. There you go. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Tommy Lee Jones. Another kind of like example of like Jimi Hendrix and Morgan Freeman playing multiple roles. Keep the cast small. There you got Marilyn Monroe holding up the flat earth map. Again with the symbolism. The transgender agenda going on. It's not a new thing. It's been around for centuries. Mixing up the genders. Sticking out that tongue. Reminds me of Miley Cyrus. That whole symbolism. It's all staged. Now we're coming up on part 3. I'm gonna kind of chill out and let you guys watch this part. So, in part 3 here, I kind of, brought back in, some of the, ways in which they are able to transform people into other people. Here's Joan Rivers. Faking her death and reappearing a couple months later.
First of all, I'm really happy to be here because I love Montreal. It's like Paris, but you bathe. And it's just so nice to be here. I can't get down the stairs. You guys have a good dinner tonight? Seriously, I cannot walk down the stairs. You go.
Can I help you here?
It's very deep. Thank you. And I worked in their coffee shop as a waitress to pay to go to all the comedy. And and you were very generous because I found out if you limp, Montrealians give you extra tips. Oh, seriously, I cannot walk down this stair. You go.
Can I help you here?
It's very deep. Thank you.
Joan Rivers. Yeah, she faked her death. Remember, she's the one who also said that Michelle Obama was a man, right? So here's David Bowie, still alive as Jack Stephen. Jack Stephen was a record executive that David Bowie worked with.
Now, as I promised, we'll talk now more about David
Blah,
Bowie.
blah, blah. Here's an interview that Jack Stephen did a couple days
Fortress music.
Yeah.
Do beg your pardon, Jack.
after
Fortress music, and worked as a
David
musician in the
Bowie,
industry,
quote unquote,
in the Bowie era, and also Bowie's fashion,
died.
We're going to talk about as well. It's influenced the era. And Lizzie Zeta, fashion stylist,
Hi.
is with. Welcome to you both. Apologies again,
No
Jack.
problem.
I mean, but perhaps first sum up how you felt this morning when you heard this.
I
news.
was just saying earlier that I actually felt that part of me had died. I mean,
Watch here.
That's how much an influence.
Look how they pixelate out his face, because that's David Bowie.
And strangely, I'm surprised. I sort of lived through John Lennon's death, Elvis's death, and sadly, this one's affected me more than any.
In prosthetics,
Because I think with him,
a couple days after he faked his death,
the first complete
out there doing this interview,
involved in every single area.
bragging about himself.
Photography, fashion, whether it was film, whether it was poetry, whether it was live work where he was very theatrical. I mean, his vocal influence. A lot of people don't.
And they keep pixeling out his face.
Of course, was musicals.
Nobody, no pixelation anywhere else.
Key. Just finally then, Jack.
And then listen to her. She says, "Has this all been planned?
This is his goodbye.
Right here.
I think
Has this all been planned?"
But I don't think he'll ever be forgotten.
That's what they do. And a couple more here. Kurt Cobain. Some rivers come on. Weezer. Nirvana and Weezer. Yeah, it's the same dude. They always fake their death. It's either like 23 or 33. It's always in the numbers. Then you got Prince. He faked his death too. And he's Tyka Nelson, which is his sister, who has been this kind of like anomaly, like kind of like weird character that really hasn't been there, but kind of has. It's always just been him playing her. Because they pre-planned these death hoaxes. They plan them years in advance. They know they're going to do this. They set it up years in advance. So they set up plants like this. It's like a long-term magic trick they're doing. It's all for gain, power, money. So yeah, dudes, I got a few more of these I'm gonna make, and I'll move on from this, but yeah, it's another level of deception that I wanted to touch on, and yeah, man.